So good day, my name is Ed Epperson. I'm 80 years old and I have Parkinson's disease. So if you see my hand shaking, it's not because I have delirium tremens, but I have Parkinson's disease. And that's been going on for about 8 years, and I feel like I'm about 90 years old because Parkinson's kind of wears away at your eyes and your ears and your heart and your lungs, and you get kind of smaller and more contracted as time goes along. And a movie was made called Tuesdays with Morrie, and a book was written called Tuesdays with Morrie, and it was about a guy with ALS. And ALS is severe and harsh and difficult and hard, and my little disease is just kind of minor. But I had the idea that maybe I could get together with my friends and maybe some of my enemies, and we could talk about our relationship and what it's meant to be together for the last 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years. So my children and my grandchildren aren't involved in this. It's mainly a matter of the people that I've been interacting with in Austin, Texas for the last 50 years or so. So this is Ty Jackson, and Ty has been gracious enough to come over to just say a few words about how I occur for him, like when he thinks of Ed, what comes up.
What I think, Ed, when I think of you, is true authenticity. As I've said to you before in the past, is the fact that you walk in somewhere and you're just there, you're present, you're to the point. You know, and it's very rare to see that nowadays because, as you say, that we live in a world, when we talk about authenticity, we live in a very fake, if I can say that word, fake world, this illusion that we have. But you're there in the moment, you're present, here I am and all that. And that's one thing, as I've told you, is that I've strived to be, because I've never been that. I've never been authentic. I've never told the truth in my life. I've always been scared to, because I've been wrapped in this fear and perception, and that's ruled my life. And for these last couple of years, you know, after meeting you, that whole perception changed for me. That changed. It's like there's a certain freedom in authenticity. And I love the fact that you can just walk the room and speak your mind, and it's just like, wow, it's a very giant presence that I get whenever I'm around you. It's a wonderful thing, you know.
Thank you. I think that in the federal government there's been a lot of talk lately about false facts and all sorts of things. So I think that America, to be great again, is going to have to get straight, to get honest, to get real, to get true. So on Memorial Day, I started thinking about maybe Memorial Day needs to be eliminated. You know, maybe we need to stop bragging and stop having a lot of celebration around people going to war and dying in war and getting purple medals. So it would be quite outrageous for America to shift from a very patriotic, very nationalistic, very prideful country to a country where people were good farmers and good dentists and good lawyers and good architects and good landowners and good families, you know, rather than so pompous and so righteous and so willing to attack another country because they don't do what we want them to do. Mm-hmm. So Memorial Day is sacred, but so is life, and I think that today we need to consider that maybe life is not something that's so sacred, but just something that we've enjoyed and has been useful, rather than something that we need to not do. So I think one of the things you're saying, if you're willing to fail, you're willing to be sober, if you're willing to die, and you're willing to not be proud, then that's a whole different America than the America we're used to.
Yeah.
So I would never badmouth someone for going to Vietnam, but I would like to see people not go to Vietnam again. Mm-hmm. This is Mary Frances Myers, and she's an old friend but a young person. She and I were probably born the same month, the same year, and she's a lot younger and a lot healthier than I am, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the ease and the grace and the beauty of coming to the end of lives, kind of like the end of a piece of pie or the end of a movie or the end of a play. There's nothing wrong here. It's just a matter of me coming to the end of my ability to listen and talk and put things together and play the game of life full out. So, anything you'd like to say to me that would prevent you from having to say, damn, I wish I had told him that when he was alive?
so many things flash through my mind at that moment when you say that. Want to say I appreciate you, Ed. I love you. I find in your presence that you bring me a challenge to my ideas and what I think is so. So I appreciate that. Gives me a little shake-up. And I know you do it from a place in your heart of love and true caring, deep, longing for the best to come forward from every person. And I see that time and again as you interact with each person that comes in your path. So I just say thank you.
Thank you.
I'm truly grateful for your calls and the times that our paths can cross.
A question I have for both of you guys, is there anybody in your life who's dying that's close to you as a family member or a friend? And if so, are you willing to talk to them now? If we could develop the habit of talking to our grandfathers and grandmothers and people that are fading away, or the young people who have malignant cancer, then I think we could develop a whole new culture where people would know that we're all connected, we're all changing, and we want to pay attention to that which works and stop doing things that don't work. Like I'm better than you doesn't work, whether you're male, female, black, or white.
Make that true.
Well, I'm at the time in my life when, yes, there are people that are at the end of their lives as well. At the moment, unless there's an accident or something, I think my circle is in pretty good, stable health. And there are those moments when it's time to talk with somebody at the end of their life, which is clearly, you know, within hours, days, or weeks. And I tend in my interactions with others to be a listener rather than a talker. So when I am in a situation to initiate, I do have a pause in order to step forward and say what I would like to say. So that is a challenge, and there you go again.
Yeah. And you probably feel frustrated that the opportunity's gone and
Yes.
you missed it.
Yes.
Yeah. Step up to that. One of my favorite things to say is that we are what we practice. And another way to say that is whatever you practice, you will become. So if you practice love, you get love. If you love, you become love. If you practice hate, you get hate. And so I think that we all need to realize that everybody needs to practice those areas where we're not very facile. And I'm real good at starting a conversation. I'm not very good at stopping a conversation. Ty, is there something else you want to say before we close for the day?
I do, Ed. I do want to say something here. And I want to say, first of all, I want to thank you and Mary for inviting me to come do something like this. You know, it's not very often I get to sit with someone and, you know, of course I sit in the rooms a lot and I get to hear people, you know, when we're talking about death and learning how to appreciate people when they're here. You know, I remember Mary said something to me about that, and I just want to say, in a respectful way, with the ladies present, that as two men, I want to say that I honor and appreciate you for what you've done for me. I was a very lost person, and you've lit this fire in me that, you know, it made me question, like as Mary here says, like you made me question everything that I've been taught and how I perceive everything, and how I just want to say how strong you are to lean into what we as Westerners perceive as death. And I just want to say how gracious it is to know you, and how I continue to know you while you're still here, and continue to still learn from you. And I value that and appreciate your presence on this planet.
Yeah. Thank you. Let me say a couple of things about what you said. I think that you've always been powerful. You've always been alive. You've always been male. You've always been American. You've always been sort of a Texas sort of a guy. And I didn't light any fires. What I did was I showed you a mirror of, allowed you to look at yourself and go, wow, I'm a lot more amazing than I ever thought. And so when I die, in the next few years, I'll almost surely die, you can go on stronger than ever without me, because you've always been the source of your own energy, your own integrity, your own authenticity. So I want to not say you're wrong, but I can correct you a little bit as a mentor, as a senior, and say you've always been great, you just didn't recognize it, you covered it up to some degree with alcohol and things of that sort. Like I'm not good enough, or I shouldn't have this girlfriend. And if we just open ourselves up to the world, we can find that we can have an amazing day on our last day of life. Thank you.